Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I wanted to show you how I made this kawaii macaron squishy from memory foam. So to start off with, I just took a little offcut of memory foam and I just kind of shaped it into a little cylinder like shape. I just took my scissors on the side of this and just did long snips until I was really happy with the smoothness of the cylinder. What I then did was smoothed out both of the edges on the top and the bottom so that I was left with a nice kind of squashed, almost like balls type shape, if that makes any sense at all, but kind of like a little oval shape that was spherical. What you then want to do is make the little indent in between those two round pieces, so right in the middle, and this will give the shape of a macaron without having to make the top and the bottom bit. So what I did was took my scissors with the very tip and just kind of made little snips all the way around so that I made like a little kind of indent. I don't know how to explain that, but you just want to do that like right next to each other so that you can then kind of cut out that middle bit, which will be left for your filling, to give the effect that the top piece of the macaron and the bottom piece are separate, if that makes any sense. So yeah, you just want to go ahead and make that indent all the way around until you're left with that nice macaron type shape. So I'm not gonna lie, that was super hard to explain, but basically once you have that shape, you'll then want to paint the whole entire thing. So I painted mine completely in white first of all, and I did actually do 2 layers of this in total. Now this was just a mixture of puffy paint in the colour white and with a little bit of white PVA glue mixed in just to make the puffy paint go further. I've never had a problem with this. I find this technique works really well at not using so much paint and also allowing it to be quite flexible, but you'll want to leave it to dry really well between coats, as you don't want your foam sticking to itself with the glue added, so just make sure it dries really well between coats and this should be fine. So once I had 2 coats of the white in total, I then moved on and made up a minty green colour. What I did was took this neon blue slick paint and just popped it inside of a little tub, and I then took this electric lime coloured and just popped this on top. I then went in with some white puffy paint and just mixed this together until I was left with a nice minty kind of colour that I really was happy with. This did take a little bit of time to mix it up just to make sure that the colour was 100% right, and I did actually add a little bit more white to make it a little bit more like pastel. And basically when I was completely happy with the colour, I then went ahead and painted the top bit of the macaron. Now I did actually obviously paint the bottom bit, but I did that off camera, but basically the easiest way to do this is just to paint one side of this first, leave it to dry, and then tip it over and paint the other side, and that's exactly what I did. But I didn't film it as the sun was getting really strong at this point and it kind of went all over where I was filming, so the brightness does change a little bit on this video, so I'm super sorry about that. But as I use natural lighting, this is almost unavoidable and just a pain in the bum really. So yeah, as I said, I just painted the top of this, and I actually painted it with the Fimo kind of spreading tool which came with my clay. I'd usually use a small lollipop stick, but I only actually had like the big ones. But the reason that I do this is so that the paint spreads on rather than seeps into the foam, and a lot of people are asking me about this, saying that the sponge just kept absorbing the paint, and I think half of this is because maybe like squish it into the foam and stuff like that. But I found the easiest way is just to spread it on with a lollipop stick or a tool or something, like so it's really on the surface. And then once you get to like the 3rd layer of paint, the paint just sticks on top of the other paint and doesn't get absorbed at all. So I think this is half down to like the tools and stuff used, as paintbrushes and stuff can really kind of stipple it into the foam and make it absorb it. So you'll be left with like a spongy kind of texture. I hope that makes sense. So what I then did was let it to dry, and I did the bottom one like I said, and then I took some white puffy paint with a dotting tool and I just painted over the middle bit of the filling again. Although this was white, it was kind of messy for where I put the mint colour, so I just wanted to make sure that the white was like on top of the mint at all times, so it looked like the filling was kind of coming out of the macaron rather than the macaron colour being painted on top of the filling. So yeah, I just went ahead with the white and just kind of neatened that up and added more white in and around that macaron shells. So next I decided I needed to pop a little kawaii face on this, and I decided to paint it on with black puffy paint and make the eyes a little bit bigger than I usually do. So I took a big dotting tool this time and just painted on the two eyes, and then I took a little pin and just painted on the mouth in between these. I did actually mess up the mouth a little bit and made it a little bit funny in between, so I did take some of that mint colour paint and just popped it over the bits that I kind of made a mistake on to cover it up, and this is a really good technique if you do make some mistakes. I then took some pink puffy paint and just added this either side of the eyes as some blush, and I then went ahead and added some highlight to the eyes. Again, I'm sorry for the sun here, it was an absolute pain while I was trying to film this video, so I do apologise. I did actually realise that I didn't want two little dots on the eyes, so I removed them with a wet wipe, another great tip if you make a mistake, and I just covered up the kind of smudge marks with some more black puffy paint. So once the face was completely dried, my squishy was then complete. Now I'm super happy with how this little guy turned out. I definitely think the slow rise in this is due to the amount of layers of paint I put on. I put on 3 layers in total, 2 of the white and 1 of the mint with a little bit of white added in the middle as well. And this really helps trap the air in. It covered up all the little kind of air bubbles in the memory foam, so it really helped give a nice slow rising effect. Now this squishy is super soft. I think it's just due to the amount of, well, just due to the size of the foam. I think it's also because I use memory foam instead of car wash sponge and stuff like that, which I've been testing out recently. So yeah, I'm really happy with this, and this is definitely why that I used to use memory foam before, because it just gives such a nice effect, and I'm super happy with how this little guy turned out. So I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed over the past 24 hours. Today we hit 35,000, which I'm sure yesterday I was just saying how grateful I was for 33,000, which is insane. So yeah, a huge thank you to everyone who's new here. Tomorrow I will have a duct tape squishy collection video for you as promised. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll do that tomorrow. If not, it'll be Thursday, but I'm pretty sure it'll be tomorrow. So if you want to see that, please stick around. If you did like this video, please give it a like, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!